You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We've talked about who Jyare Davis is already, 6'7" forward who averages 17 points and 8 rebounds per game last season. Now it's time to talk about that front court. Folks, Syracuse has a pretty good problem on its hands right now. It's a good problem. And I know that's an oxymoron, a good problem. They got a lot of good players in the front court. They got a lot of them. Jyare Davis, obviously, who just transferred in. I just told you all the reasons why I think this guy is a pretty good player. Had Jamie Shaw on the podcast, and he said, yep, he's a pretty good player. Physical. Good scorer. Chris Bell. I know he's not perfect. He's not a perfect all-around basketball player by any means. But Chris Bell has an elite trait, which by default, honestly, makes him good. He was third in the ACC in three-point percentage last season. Third. So that's a good start. You got Jyare Davis and you got Chris Bell. Okay. Well, who else do you got? Oh, 5-star freshman Donnie Freeman is coming to Syracuse next season. McDonald's All-American. First one since, I believe, Malachi Richardson. He's pretty good, right? 6'9", 5-star power forward. Scouts have been raving about his size, his ability to shoot. He hit 2 threes in the McDonald's All-American game. Folks, you can start to see where I'm going with here with this elite front court that Syracuse now has. And finally, how can I forget the main piece, or one of the main pieces, the center. Another transfer, Eddie Lampkin from Colorado. Don't forget about him just because it's been a few weeks since the transfer happened. That was a pretty early one. And then I had to tell you guys, because it's been a little bit, that don't panic just yet. It's early in the transfer portal process. Eddie Lampkin, 6'11", 300 pounds. But he's not just big. Folks, he averaged 10 points and 7 rebounds last year. He's a 4-star transfer. ESPN, I saw, recently had him at like 79 overall in the transfer rankings. Now, the other sites are a little bit lower on him than that, but still a consensus 4-star transfer center. Not the greatest in the world. He has his faults. He only had 5 blocks all of last season. But Eddie Lampkin might be the best passing big man now in the ACC. I'm not joking. He's an excellent passer at center. He can score a little bit. He's an effective rebounder. He's especially good on the offensive end. Offensive rebounding, certainly a concern for Syracuse over these past few seasons. Guys, I need you all to listen up for this huge announcement. I've been tracking the leaderboards every day, keeping my eye on the scores, putting all my heart into it, and I'm super pumped to announce I am finally on top. That's right, obviously, I'm talking about the hit mobile game Monopoly Go. You've probably heard of it. It's been downloaded over 150 million times. It's a great mobile twist on classic Monopoly. You can play anywhere, anytime. You explore hundreds of Monopoly boards from Las Vegas to Camelot to the moon, all while raking in a huge fortune. Charge rent on iconic properties just like Monopoly. You can charge your friends rent on your iconic properties, or go after their Monopoly money by pulling bank heists and taking wrecking balls to their landmarks. My favorite part is the leaderboards, where you can see who's a Monopoly tycoon and who's gone bankrupt. So go get yourself on the charts. Download Monopoly Go, now free on the App Store and Google Play. Passion, drive, and patience, the formula for winning championships, is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit. Only available to U.S. customers. I'd say that Syracuse has a pretty elite front court right now. And this is a good problem to have because I know what you guys are probably asking, well, who's going to start? Well, Eddie Lampkin, I would say, is locked in to start. He's going to be the starting center. He's going to start, right? And I think Chris Bell will start too because you need some sort of shooting in your starting lineup. Chris Bell does that. So then it comes down to Jyare Davis and Donnie Freeman. You can only start 5. You can only start 5. Someone's got to come off the bench. And let's date back a little bit. Weeks ago on this podcast, I talked about the big man conundrum where Syracuse brings in a center because they have Donnie Freeman coming in. Someone's got to sit on the bench. Someone has got to be the 6th or 7th man on this team. That's a good problem. They brought in Eddie Lampkin. Malik Brown transfers. Uh-oh. In comes Jyare Davis. Yes. Okay. I can get behind that because my theory has always been you got to get the talent first. You have to get the talent. If you don't have the talent, you can't win. At least win big without talent. Syracuse has an elite front court right now. And I know it's still early on here in this transfer portal process. Maybe not so much early, but still so much up in the air in terms of what these other rosters around the ACC are going to look like. But just thinking off the top of my head, I don't think Syracuse has to have one of the 5 best front courts in the conference. They have to have one of the 5 best, if not much higher than that. I know that Duke has a great recruiting class coming in, and they might get Malik Brown. Spoiler to next segment. I know that North Carolina is North Carolina, but they're going to lose Armando Bacot. That's nothing to sneeze at. Folks, Syracuse might have one of the best front courts in the conference next season. The fact that one of Donnie Freeman or Jyare Davis might be coming off the bench next year is a pretty good problem to have. I am so pumped about this edition of Jyare Davis. Man, it's about this one. This felt good. Now, Dakota Lefevue, side note, he did like the thing on Twitter with Jyare Davis, or not on Twitter, on Instagram. He liked it. Could he be coming too? Thank you for watching this edition of Segment of the Week. To catch the podcast this segment came from, click here. To subscribe to the channel, click here. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everyone.